I've been listening to a certain trend that's been happening with these guys exchanging information and so on. And I realized that the world is changing. So whilst I was sitting there, I decided that I want to do a little song for you. A little mind. And if you know the chorus, feel free to join in with me, right? I have no music, so I'm singing dry. And you know the weather I come from and the weather I meet. So if you hear me cracking on 2, 3, no, don't vex. Society is now changing. Things are not as before. How about song there? A certain group who was hiding, they're not hiding anymore. They're coming out of the closet, showing everybody they're no longer concealing their true sexuality. So be careful when you go walking, 'cause anywhere you go, if you see a group of men talking, don't be surprised to know that they are gay men. Gay men. Gay men. Gay men. Gay. Sing again. Gay. Doctors and lawyers. Comedians and actors. Oh gosh, give yourselves a round of applause, all easy. Any newlyweds? Do we have any newlyweds here? Under a year? Oh, good. This is our show. We storm a reception. All newlyweds, I want to give you one single piece of advice. And if you heed that piece of advice, your union will last for a very long time. And that bit of advice is simply this. Be careful of whom you take advice. Telling you as it is. As a single person, everybody over 65 in your house just tell you when you're going to get married, especially if it's your girl children. Girl children have 2 biological clocks, their own and the grandparents and the great aunt, and you understand? So it's 2 biological clocks pelting down the road. When you would get a man, eh? It's time, eh? When you're going to have a baby, that's the next step. When I was young and playing myself, every time I go to a wedding, my great aunt used to bawl, you next. I can't wait to have the clothes, you next. Man, I get so damn vexed, I bung shop in a funeral, I bawl, you next. I don't have my clothes, you. Now, I did the honorable thing and I got married just about 5 years ago. You could give me a round of applause. I make a 5. I ain't do bad. And of all people to give me advice, Dennis Hall, a.k.a. Sprangalang. I should have known. When he come and he give me advice, I should not take it. But he's my friend. And he is elder, you know. So you take the advice from the elders. Here what Sprang tell me. He say you test the relationship. I said, what do you mean you test? He say you have to test your union. I said, no. I come from the old school. I believe in trying your very best to be faithful. He said, no, I ain't talking about that. You go see about that. But you have to test the temerity of your relationship. I've seen a couple here. Sir, have you tested the temerity of this union that you have there? You haven't tested it? When you leave, you're driving? When you leave here, as soon as you get into that vehicle, you have to test the temerity of that relationship. As soon as you sit down, you driving or she driving? Good, she can't jump out. As soon, only wait for it. As soon as you get into the car, lock the doors, and as soon as your accelerator hit 30, boom. Don't feel like how everybody who balling, oh God, there's a bag of single people in here. They haven't tested. When you express yourself gastronomically, a.k.a. you are farted, You are sending a clear and distinct signal to your significant other that you are so comfortable in their presence. You understand? A lie? That is the worst advice I ever hear in my life. That's what Sprang tell me. And here now, I'm going to expose men. When you're here, we now meet a young lady. Ladies, don't feel that fellas that you meet who looking good, dressing good, you're smelling the cologne all the time. Don't feel the dopam, you know. But here others do it. Oh, shucks, I had to take a call. Excuse me, I don't want to disturb. Excuse me. Phone ring. They go outside. And they come back like nothing happened. Another excuse, they say, oh, shucks, I forgot my phone in the car. Phone in the pocket, you know. But they go to the car quietly, they stay outside. And they come back. I go through my whole life doing these little rituals. Sprang tell me, test my relationship with a pum. Stupid me. I take the advice. And at night, you know, we in bed and so on. And I try one. And something about a pum when the gas escape and the cheeks twist, just leave you with a stupid smile on your face. Even when you're by yourself, you must check it sometime and just leave it. Here now, man, I test the temerity of my relationship. I let go on. And that's when I know that my wife in love. She said, oh gosh, you're stupid, eh? I said, but let me warn your partner, it's contagious. And contagious in the sense that only you just catch it. So I start to enjoy the thing. Then you start to play games. Pull your head under the sheet and you cover it. And every time that I do it, she used to tell me, you go ahead, you go ahead. One of these days you wouldn't measure it good and you go shit out your guts. I didn't even realize that she wasn't really enjoying it, but I was having a time by myself. Sometimes I used to come from work and I'm holding it in the car to rush home and let go. And every time, go ahead with your pumping self, you go shut out your guts. Christmas Eve last year, I'm in the middle of my habit and I can't stop myself. My bum see like it have Velcro. It is just slip out when it want. My wife wake up Christmas Eve last year with this big grand plan to catch me. So she went downstairs and she cleaning some chicken to prepare for Christmas Day and Boxing Day, the holidays, you know what I'm saying? And she hold the bag of guts and creep upstairs like a bandit, pull the back of my pajamas and rest the chicken guts in my pants. But I in mind may really realize, oh God, I snoring hard, I sleep hard. And I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, when I feel the moisture, I levitate off the bed. I even run to the bathroom, I levitate towards the bathroom. And she downstairs laughing like the woman who laughing somewhere in the middle there. Well enjoying herself. When I reach downstairs, I pale. I sweating all by my ankle. And she lean up by the sink there. So what happened? I say, oh gosh, girl, you was right, you know. You was right. You tell me I would have pum till I shut out my guts. It happened this morning. She said, oh gosh. I said, no, don't worry. By the grace of God, with a little Vaseline and these two fingers, I put back the guts. I'm feeling all right. You ought to be careful. Take my advice. Be careful from whom you take advice. It's a serious thing. Do we have any grandparents here? Some young voice answering, bold-faced, all you could liar. We are grandparents in truth? I want to go on record as saying grandparents are some of the most vicious, wicked people that have in the world. I love all you, but all you're selfish. Let me tell you something. A grandparent who was once a parent goes through their life as a parent trying to convince the child that what they're saying is true, only for the child to fight that and say it is not true until the child become a parent. Do you understand the cycle? It sounds like it's true? And I think that is why grandparents get so vicious when they become grandparents. You ever notice? Grandparents just laugh and clap at everything the grandchild doing that you used to get cut ass for. I ain't lying. When my son was born, a little over 4 years ago, if you see a boy, I like a super daddy. So I go to the pharmacy and I start to buy stocks. I buy this, I buy powder, I buy gripe water, and I'm putting together the thing. And now they sell a little thing. It's like a little glass syringe with a plastic top. So I asked the guy in the pharmacy, what's this for? They say that's in case the child becomes congested. So you put it in the nose, you squeeze, and it's supposed to extract the mucus. One problem, it don't work. What you're supposed to do? Wicked, vicious grandparents know this and they don't tell us. They don't tell us. So I buy my thing and I go on 2-3 months after my son born, I hear him breathing heavy in the night. I ask my wife, I say, what happened? She said, the child congested. I go on and I pick the syringe and I squeeze. I inflate the child nose. And nothing coming out. So I call my mother, the grandparent. She said, but that ain't gonna work. I know why you buy it for. I stay there, but I know that don't work. I said, so what you're supposed to do? She said, use your mouth and pull it out. So now that I have the information, she said, use your mouth, pull it out, I hang up, pick up the child, put my mouth over the child's nose, and very gently, because if you pull too hard, you could also get lung, spleen, liver, and ribs, and so on. Yes, you have to pull gently. So I pull gently. Now with this thing in my mouth, I get confused. Because my mother didn't tell me what I'm supposed to do with it after. And I'll tell you something, it could be your child, it could be the neighbor child, it could be any child. You see, snot, in any form, is the worst tasting thing without nutritional value. After about 3 seconds, it hit the back of my tongue and slipped up. I called back my mother. I said, I pull it out, but I end up swallowing it. She said, but you're the ass. You're supposed to spit it out. So I said, all right. So we're going through the night. Wifey hit my elbow. Yetax. Wendell, the child congested. I said, okay, no problem. I get it good. 45 minutes later, I get her elbow. Yetax. Wendell, the child congested. No problem. Wendell, the child congested. No problem. Wendell, the child congested. No problem. Wendell, the child constipated. I said, no, darling, that's your turn. We're going one in, one out. And I also want to advise young people who will eventually have children. Children always observe. They're observant. They know things. Don't take them for granted. My uncle, when he had his young son at the time, ran into some money, so he had a little maid. But as we were growing up, we used to realize that the maid used to change every 8-9 months or so. That's when we found out that uncle used to have a little thing with the maid. Now, my aunt wasn't sure what was happening. And then when my cousin get old enough, she tell him, I want you to observe what's going on with this maid because I find her today. So if your father come home, hide, watch what they're doing, and then tell me. You see how people like to put children in big people back and all? As fate would have it, my aunt gone out Uncle come in, he and the maid head for the room, and the child by the keyhole peeping. Now, in my family, we have big eyes. Everybody eye big. So you could imagine this big eye balancing behind a keyhole, peeping at everything. Well, the child see everything. Uncle gone, auntie come, child meet her in the road. Mommy, 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 I see everything. I see everything that daddy do. She say, hush, don't say a word. Come with me. We're going straight by the neighbor. I want a witness. When I start to kill people, the neighbor could tell them why. Go on by the neighbor. Talk, child. Neighbor, remember I tell you, thing was happening next door. I wasn't sure what's going on. Well, the child see everything. Talk, child. Say, well, mommy, as soon as you gone, about 2 minutes after I see daddy pull up. You see, neighbor? You see how vicious man is? Talk, child. Say, well, mommy, you go on and pull them inside the room. In my room, if you hear she started, in my room? Oh, gosh, she vicious. Talk, child. Say, well, mommy, daddy take down the maid clothes. Every single thing down to she toenail and all he take off. Say, talk, child. Say, and mommy, he take the same thing that Uncle Joseph have in your mouth. Say, hush, child. Hush. You have to be careful with children. They just take notes. They take notes. They observe everything. When my son was 2, I didn't even realize that 2 years old, could barely walk. One morning I sit down, I have this routine. Go downstairs, take up the newspaper, draw a little coffee, and I sit down with my coffee and my papers, and I watch a little TV with the TV on. One morning, my 2-year-old son come balancing this little cup with water. Daddy, coffee? I said, oh, gosh. Thanks, son. And I take it, and he watches it. Children, they look for appreciation, so I drink it. The problem, though, children don't ever know when to stop. So about 20 cups later, my belly swell hard like a wet crick. And I drinking, and then wifey come. I say, that's my child, you know. Bright child. Brilliant child. So what are you talking about? Watch this, he coming. True to form. About cup number 17. Daddy, coffee? Thanks, son. Take the coffee. Thank you. And as he go on with the cup, I say, hey, look, take after my side of the family. That is a brilliant child. You see how observant he is? He say, yes, he's brilliant, but you is ass. I say, what you mean? She say, Wendell, where else other than a toilet bowl a 2-year-old could get water? Hey, only I go on. I can't take this pressure. You see this?